Hi, welcome back to another Wednesday. It's Wednesday, it's live, we're live, and we continue to work on our learning management system. Thank you for joining me again. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I know I am. So we have a few things. I have a few things that I want to show you today, and I hope I have enough time to do that. So why don't we just jump right in and I'll show you what we have planned for today, shall we? Things I want to cover today, I want to start with a few tests on the user model that we are going to need later on when at some point we are going to need, first of all, authentication. And second, we are going to need a way for a user to own their courses, and also we need to be able to know what episodes the user has watched regardless of the course. So we are going to add a few relationships to the user model, and we're going to test them as well. Also, on the watch episodes page, what I want to do is right now we have been relying on the order of the creation of the courses to show the list of episodes. We have been relying on the order those episodes are created. I think the default order is by ID, so they have been showing fine, like because we have been creating them in order. But could happen that you create a couple of episodes and then you create a third episode, but you intend that episode to be the first one. So we can't just rely on the ID or the creation date. We need a way for us to order those episodes in some way. So we are going to add that to the list of episodes on the watch episodes page, and then we're going to implement it on the course details page. And also, what I want to do, if we have time, is show you. I want to show you how you can interact with Livewire events. Livewire events are incredibly powerful and really cool. And I'm going to show you a few tricks so you can communicate via events, not just with your own component, but also with components across the application. So that's going to be really cool. So make sure to stay till the end so that you can get that tip. And also, using that technique, we are going to start marking episodes as watched as soon as the video ends. We're going to use the Vimeo API for this. It's going to be a very simple implementation, but there are many things you can do with the Vimeo API, so that this is just the beginning of the things you can do. But yeah, and if we have time, at the end, I'm going to see if we can redirect to the next episode in the list once the video ends as well. So yeah, let's start with the user tests. I'm going to go back to VS Code here, and we are going to, I don't think we have a test for the user model. Let me check. Unit models, no, we just have one for the course, so we're going to need a new test file. So PHP artisan best test. This is going into the models folder, so models and user test. All right. Oh, I forgot the feature flag, so it went into, sorry, I forgot the unit flag, so it went into the feature. Actually, let me just redo that. Let me delete this. Delete, not rename. There you go. Now let's do that, and let's do unit this time. All right, that's better. Here it is. Let's open that file and let's start working on those tests. So the first one we need is a way for the user to have a list of episodes that basically the user owns. So it has, not episodes, sorry, courses. But it's the same concept. So let's start with courses. It has courses. Let's say many courses, just to be precise. So first thing we need here is to set up a course for the user. So I'm going to go to the watch episode test, just to grab maybe, this is a course for user, instructor, has episode. Yeah, I can grab this one. This one will do. The only difference is that we don't need an episode. We're just checking the course. So we have a course and it has, but now we need a user as well. So right before this, let's say user equals user factory create. There's nothing else I need to do on this user. So the default one should do. Let's see, and then a course. All right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to attach Alejandro Garcia. Hola, ¿de qué trata el proyecto? We are creating a learning management system akin to those, to Laracast or Code Course or Laravel Daily, etc. Basically trying to create something similar to that, but using Livewire components and also Filament as well. So now I want to take the user, and the user is supposed to have a relationship called, let's call it courses. So courses. And then I'm going to, this is going to be a many-to-many relationship. So we can do attach. And we are going to attach the course we just created. So once we do that, we can assert, no, not assert, sorry, expect the user courses relationship. This is supposed to be a collection, first of all. So let's expect this to be, almost forgot, to be instance of collection. And this is Illuminate database collection, not the support one, but Illuminate database collection class, actually. Oopa. So first of all, it has to be a connection, and second, to have a count, of course. This collection has to have a count of 1, because we only have one course. And also on that collection, I'm going to do first, because there's only one element, and that first element I want it to be an instance of course. So to be instance of course class. And just to, I don't know, triple check, I'm going to do first again to get the first element of the collection one more time, and I'm going to reference the, let's say reference the title for this case. So the title to be equal to the course that we created title. So to recap, we referenced the courses collection that doesn't exist yet, but we are going to create. And that has to be an instance of collection, eloquent collection to be precise. It has to have a count of exactly 1 because that's how many courses we just attached. The first element of that collection has to be an instance of the course model. And also that on that first instance, or the title has to be equal to the course title that we created up here. It should be enough for the first test. Save this. What's this squiggly line? Of course. Forgot the semicolon. Okay. Let's run this and see what we get. Let me hide a few things here. So again, best run and call to undefined method, app models user courses. All right, so that's the first thing we need to do. The relationship doesn't exist, so we need to add it to the model. So let's open the user model class. And down here, let's create a public function. And let's call it courses. This is going to be a belongs to many. Belongs to many relationship, and then return this. My keyboard is like a millimeter to the left and I'm missing all the keys. This belongs to many, and then course class. I don't think there is anything weird going on with the foreign key naming conventions, so I think this should do just fine. So let's save this and run the test again. And now we're getting a new error. The table, or sorry, no such table course user. It's looking for the pivot table for the many-to-many relationship, and it has to be called course user. So let's create that. PHP artisan make migration, create course user table. And let's use the create flag for some scaffolding. And the table is course user. Yeah, that should do it. So that should take care of the non-existent table error. So let's close this and run the test again. Okay, now it's complaining about the course user table, which now exists, not having a column named course ID. So let's go and create that. Let's open the create course user table migration, and here let's add one more column. Let's use foreign ID for course class. Save it and run the test again. And oh, class course not found, of course. Need to import this. Run again, and now it's complaining about the course user table not having a column named user ID. And I think that was the original error. I think I added the wrong one, but that's all right. Let's just add another foreign ID for user. Okay, save and run the test again. And now it's passing. That was easy, wasn't it? So now we can track via a relationship, a user can have or can own many courses. Now let's go one step further. because we also want to track what episodes the user has watched regardless of the course. So we are going to need another relationship for this. Let's go back to the user test. And it's going to be very similar to this. Let's see. It has many watched episodes. Let's see. We are going to need another user. Sorry. We're going to need another user here. So let's copy this, paste it down here. We do need a course. Do we need a course, or can we just have an episode? We do need a course because the episode needs to or has to belong to a course. There is a foreign ID there that is not nullable. So let's do this. Let's create the course here, just like this. Or we're not going to do any. Oh, I have an idea. Let's do this. Instead of doing that, let's create an episode. We do need to create a course. So still, create the course and then create an episode with episode. Wait. Episode 4. No, yeah, that's all right. So episode factory. I was just thinking about the method of the factory. When you create a factory, you can say factory factory 4, and the for method does accept a model instance or something like this. When you do create, this will be an instance, and you can pass that instance to for, but you cannot do that with what was the other method, has. When you do has, or the inverse of that relationship, I think you have to, for the has method, you have to pass in a factory without calling create, which is weird. I don't know. So let's just create an episode like this. I don't think we need to modify anything about the fact, so yeah, nothing. Let's do create. Oh, like I was saying, we can do the for course. So this will relate the episode to the course. So we have a user, we have a course, we have an episode. We are only going to be relating the user, and we're going to use a relationship called watched episodes. And on that relationship, we are going to attach again. Yeah. We're going to attach the episode. And I think the expectation is very similar again. Instead of checking on the courses relationship, let's use the watched episodes relationship. Has to be an instance of a collection again to have a count of 1. The first instance has to be an instance, the first element has to be an instance of episode. And the first title can be equal to episode, or has to be equal to episode title. La, 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 la. Ja, 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 ja. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, let's try this out. Run this test. Watched episodes method is not defined. Okay, that's what we expected. Let's go back to the user model and create that function here. Public function watched episodes. Again, this is a belongs to many relationship. So return this belongs to many episode. Check on the import. I don't need an import here. Okay, save that. Run the test again. Okay, we move on to the pivot table episode user. Let's create that. I'm going to use the same command, but instead of course user, this will be episode user. Okay, let's run that test one more time. Now we need the episode ID column in the episode user table. So let's open that migration. Create. Is it the episode user? Episode user table. Table foreign ID 4. Episode class. And since we know we are going to need the next relationship, let's just go ahead and create it right away. So user class. So we need a foreign ID for user and for episode. This will take care of the next error. And I think if we run it again, it should be green. And it is. Awesome. Okay, so that takes care of these two relationships that we are going to actually need in the future by the time we get to mark an episode as watched, for example. Oh, by the way, I don't think we're going to get to that today, because in order for me to mark an episode as watched, I need to know who's watching the episode, and we don't have authentication just yet. So I think that's going to be left for next week. So yeah, we're not going to get to this one just yet, because the whole authentication thing is going to be a little bit of a drag. We need to bring in authentication, and for that, the fastest way to do it, and I honestly don't know if it's going to work, is I'm planning on bringing in a starter kit, but I don't think I've ever actually imported or created a starting kit after the project has been created. I usually do that from the beginning. So I don't know how much of a pain that's going to be. I'm going to use Breeze, or I plan to use Breeze for the login screen, authentication, all of the authentication system. So yeah, that's going to be a bit of a pain. So let's leave that for next week. For now, let's just focus on, I think we can actually cover this one, redirect to the next episode. If we have this one, it shows the episode list in ascending order. That means that we can also redirect to the next episode, because we know what episode is next, if any. So yeah, let's take care of this one first. So as I said in the beginning, we are currently relying on just the order of the creation of the episodes to display the list, but we need a way for us to actually order that list however we want. So let's go into the watch episodes test file. Actually, before we do that, let me just make sure that nothing has broken so far. Everything green? Yes, perfect. Clear this, close this, close this. Let's open the watch episode test. And I think we already have this test, which shows, no, not this one, show the list of episodes. So we have this, but we're just relying on making sure that the first episode is created first and second and third, respectively. So I'm going to take this test right here, copy that, and I'm going to paste it down here, rename it to show the list of episodes in order, maybe? Is that how I call it? Ascending order. And for this, I'm going to introduce one more piece of state data, and it's going to be called sort. This is going to be 1, 2, and 3. But this would make no sense, or it will be useless if we actually created the episodes in order. So instead, I'm going to move the first episode to third place. So the test is the assertion actually is going to be the same. We expect to see the first episode title first, and then second, and then third. But we created those in different order, so this should fail right away. And let's make sure that that's the case. And I'm pretty sure by doing this, I'm going to break a few other things, but we'll get to that. So let's run this first. And obviously, the episodes table doesn't have a column named sort. So let's fix that first. Let's open the create episodes table and let's add it here right after length in minutes table. This will be an integer and let's call it sort. Save and run the test again. How sick are you of hearing me run the test again? Because I'm going to be saying it a lot, contains second episode in specified order. So, okay, now it's complaining that the second episode should not be showing up in the order that it is showing. So the second episode, it's showing first, and that's not what we want. So, where do we fix this? I think the best place, the best place to solve this will be on the relationship directly. So that, yeah, because right now, because we are using info lists, we're already passing the record to, we're passing a course model to the info list object. And that info list object is already making use of the relationship. So the relationship should be returned in order right away. So yeah, this should be taken care of in the relationship of the course directly. So let's open the, what is it? Course model. If we open the course model, we already have a relationship called episodes. And this is what we are using in the info list for the repeatable entry, which is referencing this relationship and just showing everything that is every item in this relationship. So what we can do is sort this relationship, sort by sort. And I'm pretty sure the default sorting order is ascending. Is it? Are you not going to give me intelligence? All right, never mind. We'll figure it out soon enough. So this should be enough, I think. Let's run that test again. Not sort by, sorry, order by. Yeah, that was easy enough, right? Problem is, I just broke every other test pretty much in the whole suite. If I run pest, yeah, everything is broken. Mainly because of this. There is now a not nullable column in the episodes table, which is sort. So pretty much every error is about that. So to solve most, if not all of those errors, we should go back to the factory, the episode factory, and add sort to the definition. And this can be a fake random digit. All right. Let's see what happens. Run the test again. Oh, I ran previews. That was already passing. What I had to do is run everything. Pest. All right, just one, which is, scroll up. It shows the list of episodes. Of course, because it's not using the sort order here. It is just giving it random sorting order. That's a difficult word. Sorting order in this test. So we have to go and actually use the sort for the factory. So watch episodes test. Leave this one right here. So this one's failing because this is getting random numbers for the sort column. So let's actually give them a sort. Sort. This will be 1, 2, and 3. And another one is failing. Can't be the same one, can it? It shows the provided episode. Why is that failing? This is in watch episode test. It shows the provided episode. Oh, I see. We're using last to get the last item, but it's not guaranteed that the second episode is going to have the highest sorting number, right? So when we return the episodes here on this list, the second episode could be the first, and we are specifically looking for the second episode overview here. So again, I think this is easily solvable by just introducing sort 1 and 2. Okay. We should be green, and we are. Perfect. Okay. Back to green. Everything is good. So let me go back to the list of things. So now we can sort the episodes. This is going to be especially useful because later on when we create the admin panel for a user, or actually for the admin, or for whoever is creating episodes and posting, creating courses and posting episodes to those courses, if you didn't know, Laravel comes with a sortable option so that you can have a table and be able to reorder the elements of that table. And having a sorting option or a sorting column is going to make that possible. So yeah, you can create 10 episodes on a course, and then you can reorder those in whatever order you want. I think we're ready to move into this one. Okay. How much time do we have? Oof, plenty of time. For this, we need to go to the UI first, because I want to show you how this works before we go into testing it with Livewire. So for that, I'm going to, first of all, clear this terminal, and I'm going to rerun the migrations because we have made some changes to the database. So let's do PHP artisan migrate fresh, and that wipes the database. That wipes the database and then recreates it with all of the migrations, the updated migrations. For this purpose, I created a database seeder beforehand, and let me show you how it looks. Should be in database, seeders, course seeder, and this was just for me to be able to create some test data to be able to see in the UI without having to go into Tinker and do it myself and just wasting a bunch of time. And all it is just I'm creating a course using a factory, setting the state for that course, creating it for belonging to an instructor user, setting the different state for those models. And what else? I'm creating 3 episodes in total with the Vimeo's IDs that correspond to actual to actual videos inside Vimeo that I have uploaded previously. And I'm including the sort option as well here. So yeah, let's run this database seeder to create a bit of data that we can see in the UI. So PHP artisan db seed class course seeder. All right, next let's start a PHP development server with PHP artisan serve. And we are going to need also a Vite development server. Again, I'm using Bun, but you can use NPM as well. And now we can go to the browser and visit localhost 8000 courses, and I'm passing the course ID directly in the URL, which in this case is just course ID 1. And now we have something to look at, okay? So we have the course description, the tagline, the teacher, how many episodes, how long are they, how long ago this was published. This was all working. And here we have the list of episodes that are, this one is not working with sorting, by the way. We're gonna do that later. The one that is working with sorting is, say, introduction. This list is actually working with sorting, the thing that we just tested. So what I want to do here is use the Vimeo API or the Vimeo SDK to be able to detect when the video ends. And as soon as the video ends, we want to mark the video as watched, which we are going to do next week, possibly, and also move on to the next episode in the list. If we are in episode number 1, this will have a sorting of 1, so we can take that and then increment by 1 and find that episode and move to that episode. So we're going to do that. But let me show you how we can react to events coming from the Vimeo SDK in Livewire. So first, we are going to go to let me close a few things here. If you remember, the video player is actually an info list, a custom info list entry that we created last week, and it's located in app, info lists, video player entry. This is the class, and this class is using this template. You have to remember that everything in Filament is basically a Livewire component. That's all there is. This video player entry extends from entry, and it goes all the way down to an actual Livewire component. So there's nothing to it. So what we can do is we're going to open this template, and it's located on resources, views, info list, components, video player entry. And we have a few things that we need to fix here. First of all, we do need to use the script and end script directives so that Livewire will take care of running JavaScript in the specific or the actual, in the best moment possible after the component has been initialized and rendered. But this cannot be inside the main or the root element. It has to be outside of it. And second, since I'm going to do some JavaScript myself, this script that loads the Vimeo API has to be inside the component. So within the dynamic component element here, which is the root of the components template. So put that there, and then in here I'm going to create another script tag. Why are you going so far? 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on. Okay, so script, and then close script. And here I'm going to basically use my own JavaScript logic. The first thing we need to do is we're going to grab the iframe where the player is, and then using that iframe, we're going to create a new Vimeo player. For that, let me reference the Vimeo player SDK. This is in developer vimeo.com, player SDK basics, and I'm going to use these two lines from here. First, I'm going to grab the iframe. So iframe equals document query selector. This is vanilla JavaScript. Sorry. This will grab the only iframe element in the page. And then I'm going to create a Vimeo player like this. Player equals new Vimeo player, and we pass the iframe element. This Vimeo object is available because we are loading this JavaScript from the Vimeo player API. And now that we have a Vimeo player available, we can react to specific events coming from this player. And the event that we are looking for is, if we open player SDK reference, we have events for playback controls, and specifically one called ended. And this is how we can use it. We can call player on and the name of the event, which is ended, and then call a function once that event fires. And that event will receive data, which looks like this, just the duration of the video, how much of a video was played. This will be 100%, I think. And then how many seconds of the video was actually played. I've seen that these two numbers are always the same, no matter what I do. But yeah, this is basically what you get as event data. So I'm going to grab this line here, and then I'm going to listen to that event, but instead of on play, I'm going to use my own function, shorthand function in this case. And here we are going to do something when that happens. And what I'm going to do is, on Livewire, you have access to an object in JavaScript that is called wire. And that's basically the Livewire snapshot, or the Livewire main component or object that you can use to, for example, dispatch events. And that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to say wire dispatch, and I can give this event whatever name I want. Let's call it episode ended. And that is going to dispatch this event for whoever is listening. There is no limitation to this component, and it's not like Vue.js where you have to listen to this event on the container component. Now, this dispatch, this event, and whoever is listening on any other component will react and will react to this dispatched event. But how do we listen to this event anywhere else? Well, we're going to react to this in the watch episode component. So let's open watch episode. And this is a component that we created to basically display everything that you just saw in the page via an info list. Sorry. And here we can create a new method. Let's create a new method just below the render. Let's call it public function. And again, this can be whatever, but I like to use the convention on episode ended. So on and the name of the event that I want, or that I'm listening to. And yeah, that's it. So how do we connect this and we make this as a listener to the dispatched event that we are dispatching on a different component, in this case, the video player entry? First, we need to go all the way up, and I'm going to use Livewire, I believe is attributes on. If you didn't know or were not aware, after PHP version 8, we now have the ability to use attributes on functions. And this specific attribute from Livewire allows us to listen to dispatched events wherever they are dispatched. So we can go back down to this function, and we are going to add an attribute using hashtag square bracket and then using the on attribute, and this will receive the name of the event that we are listening to. In this case, episode ended. Now for testing purposes, I'm just going to do a DD here, and I'm going to say episode, let's just say move to next episode, because that's basically what we want to do when this happens, right? So that's it. We are now connected. We have connected the watch episode component, and we made a listener to the dispatch event that is firing whenever the Vimeo event ended happens. So let's see that in action. Let's go back to the browser. And I'm going to make sure that this is fine, refresh, and crossing fingers, I'm going to hit play. And this video is going to play. I'm going to move the cursor to basically almost the end. And as soon as the video ends, we get the DD in screen. Move to next episode. I mean, isn't that cool? Come on. Now we are firing an episode using JavaScript and reacting to that episode on a PHP class on a completely different component. That is amazing. So yeah, and not only that, hold on, this gets better. We can pass information to dispatched events. As a second parameter, we can just use a JavaScript object and we can pass information here. For example, if I want to move to the next episode, I need to know what the current episode is. And we can do that easily by just passing the current record of the repeatable entry, the current episode. So what we can do is, I'm going to pass a variable called episode here. So episode, and the value of this, I'm going to pass it as a string, because if I don't use strings in JavaScript, I need to use curly brackets to have access to, as you can see here, we're using getState, which gives us the Vimeo ID, but we can also use getRecord. And this getRecord method gives us the episode model instance. And on that, I can do ID, for example. So I'm going to pass the episode ID as data for this event. So going back to the watch episode on the listener, I can get that ID here, but even better, you can use implicit model binding. So you can tell Laravel, I'm expecting an episode model instance called episode. So Laravel will take the ID that you're passing and just go and fetch that model from the database for you. So now I can do another DD here for episode. And let's see how that looks. Go back to the browser, already refreshed, hit play again, move to the end, let the video end, and look at this. We have the episode model instance, and not only that, is the actual instance with all of the attributes that I need: title, length in minutes, and more importantly, sort. Cool or not? I mean, the first time I did this, I was like, this is amazing. So now, if we have time, let me see. Yeah, we have 7 minutes. Let's try and just do a redirect to the next. Actually, okay. What I just showed you is basically what we are going to use to move to the next episode. But the thing that I really want to do right now, we can leave this all the redirecting and marking episodes for next week, so that we have more time to work on that. What I want to do now is I want to have an indication of which video I'm watching, because right now I can't really tell if, other by the title, that I'm actually watching this episode. So I'm gonna do some visual tweakings here just to be able to see what episode I'm looking at. So let's go back here. And on the watch episode still, let's see, I'm gonna make this actually small so that we can see the results on screen more easily. So I'm looking at the repeatable entry, and I looked for any way possible to make the actual background change color based on information that we have on the repeatable instance or the repeatable entry that we currently are looking at. But there's no way of changing that. The only thing that you can do to every repeatable entry is to, right now they're all formatted as cards. The only thing that you can do is use, for example, on the repeatable entry itself, you can say contained false, and that will remove the the styling completely, but there is no other customization to the items other than that. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to work on the title itself. For example, right now we're displaying this play icon next to the title, but we are using this -O variance, which O stands for outline. So I want to change that to S, for example, which stands for solid. If I do that now, you can see how the design changes, and now it's a solid icon. But I want to do that only on the video that I'm watching. So let's change this to O. And in fact, just like many other functions in Filament, you can either pass a value or use a callback function. So let's do that. I'm going to use a callback function here. And to this function, I can inject the actual episode. So episode, let's call it record. And here I can just compare this episode's ID to the current episode, which we have stored in this current episode. So let's say if this, let's say episode or record, sorry, if record ID equals this current episode ID, basically this is the episode that we're watching and should be marked with the solid icon. So in that case, I'm going to use ternary operator here and then use the solid icon. Otherwise, we will use the outline, like so. So by just doing that, if we save now, then we actually get the first one solid and the second and third one are outline. Let's test watching the second one instead. And yeah, that's working perfectly. The other thing that I wanted to do is change the color. I mean, this is good indication, but I want it to pop. So let's change the color of the icon. And this is going to be very similar. I'm just going to do icon color thing. Yeah, there. I was missing a comma. So icon color. And again, this takes a function as well as a callback function. So let's do the same. Let's inject the episode, call it record. And, oh, sorry. I actually have to do fn shorthand function, inject the episode. And then do the same check, record ID equals current episode ID. And if that happens, I want the color to be success, which is green. Otherwise, the color will be gray. Save that, and there you go. Now the icon is green and solid. And just to give it a final touch, I'm going to make the text font, the font weight to be bolder. So once again, let's add another method here called, I believe is weight. Use the shorthand function. I'm going to copy the entire thing from here. Again, injecting the record, comparing the record ID to the current episode ID, and if that's true, I want to use font bold. Otherwise, let's use font base. Not bond, font. and save that. And there you go. Now it's clearly marked. And I think that works pretty well. Okay, so there is still plenty of polish that we can do, or we can things that we can do on this page. Add links, for example, to travel between episodes. We still need a way to go back to the episode like this. We need to change these to use order, etc., etc. And we also need to mark episode as watched, but we're going to do that next week, because we are going to also introduce authentication for users, which is crucial in order to know who is watching the episode and who should we assign that episode as watched. Also, another important thing is that you should only be able to access your own courses, and no other user should be able to access a course that you own, basically. Or you can only access courses that you own. If you don't own a course, you cannot watch it. Basically, authentication, authorization, all of that we're going to do next week. And for now, we're going to leave it here. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this helpful, remember, leave me a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.